Okay, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. My name is Becca Estrada. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a CIPL Southern California Director. California IPL is based in Oakland, the unceded ancestral lands of the Ohlone people, and I am zooming in today from Pasadena of the Tongva lands. So if you haven't already, feel free to share in the chat your name and the native land where you reside, as well as your congregation or faith community, just so we can get to know who's in the room with us. Today's webinar, we will hear from Clean Power Alliance, a not-for-profit electricity provider that serves customers clean, renewable energy at competitive rates. CPA invests in communities they serve by funding customer programs to help you save money. They help create resilient projects that strengthen critical infrastructure and help train the local workforce for jobs in renewable energy. During this webinar, you will meet CPA's energy team, a group of experts available to help residents and nonprofits like houses of worship navigate the renewable energy sector. In a time where federal government is repealing environmental protections and attempting to slow down our country's adoption of renewable energy, it's more important than ever for people of faith and conscience to take full, just climate action. California IPL is endorsing the Clean Power Alliance and their energy team as trusted experts that can support each of us in our efforts to transition from fossil fuels to clean, renewable energy. But first, because this is a lunch meeting, I will pass it off to my colleague, Gregory, who will offer a blessing for us. Afterwards, I will introduce our guest speakers from Clean Power Alliance, and we will also have plenty of time for discussion after the presentation before we wrap up at 12:45. So with that, Gregory, would you share a blessing for us?
Yes. Hey, y'all. Gregory here. I use they and he pronouns. Up here in San Francisco at the moment, my lunch is with me. I hope yours is with. There's more than just this apple, I promise. But please join me in a spirit of reflection and prayer. Source of life and sacred mystery of many names, as we gather as one people of our various traditions to bless our sacred earth, bless our time together. Fire of transformation and light of truth, ignite in us the courage to defend our sacred earth, to protect frontline communities, the most vulnerable, and to challenge the powerful, to rekindle hope where despair has taken root. May our prayers not only be words, but actions that restore ecological balance, compassion that heals climate wounds, and faith that moves mountains, and faith that starts the green transition. So may it be. Amen, Ashe, Om Shanti, and blessed be. Thank you all for being here. You're on mute, Becca.
You think we would forget that or get over that by now. Anyway, today I have two guests to introduce. First off, we have Chico Manarola. Chico is the Electrification Program Manager for Clean Power Alliance. He oversees programs to pursue electrification reach codes. He provides guidance to homes and small businesses and their electrification projects. He provides CA coupons and income qualified customers and supports local workforce development. Chico brings more than 20 years of experience in responsible purchasing, climate action planning, and GHG accounting. And he earned a MPP in environmental policy from the University of Maryland. Thank you for being with us today, Chico.
Great. Hi, everyone. Excited to be with you today. Thank you, California Faith, Power, and Light, for having us. We're very excited to talk about one of our programs called Energy Team. And I'll dive right in, and we'll have an opportunity to have a Q&A at the end. So I think maybe the best thing to do will be to save questions until then or put them in the chat. And let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'll say, like, what is Clean Power Alliance? Many of you may not have heard of us. Some of you hopefully have. We are a consumer choice aggregator. We've existed in California for 15 years, broadly consumer choice aggregators. CPA has been around for about 6. And we purchase electricity on behalf of residents and businesses in the communities that we serve. Clean Power Alliance serves Ventura and LA counties. And so what community choice aggregators do is they bulk purchase renewable electricity on behalf of the communities they serve, and then provide them through existing power lines that are operated by, in this case, Southern California Edison. And so here you can see this map is a little jammed with all the different CCAs that are available, but that's just because there are a lot of CCAs now in the state. So Clean Power Alliance is made up of 38 member jurisdictions, again, through LA and Ventura counties. We serve almost all of Ventura County except for the city of Fillmore, which is expected to join in about 2 years. And we serve more than 3 million residents with 1 million customer accounts. We're the #1 green power provider in the US, and each member jurisdiction has a seat on our board of directors. So, and each member gets 1 vote. So all of our board meetings are public. It can be very, very lively and very fun with each jurisdiction being represented.
Hey, Chico, could you try sharing your screen again? Right now, we just have a lovely view of you and your background.
Oh, sorry. Here you go. How about now? Can you see my screen?
There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thankfully, you didn't miss too much here. I'll go back 1 slide, just so you can see this map of California with all the different CCAs in it. As you can see, there's a lot, there's 25, and growing. So, and here is a map of where our jurisdictions are. Again, we serve Ventura and LA counties. Okay, so Clean Power Alliance is a not-for-profit electricity provider, and we provide electricity at competitive rates. So what does this look like? You know, we work with power providers, we contract with them, they develop, let's say, solar installations, and then that power is delivered to you or our customers. It could be businesses, it could be local governments, it can be individual residents through power lines that are owned and operated by Southern California Edison. So the electrons are coming from Clean Power Alliance. The infrastructure is coming from Southern California Edison. For you, the customer, what this looks like is you'll still see 1 single monthly bill if you are a Clean Power Alliance customer. You'll just see 2 itemized charges. 1 for the actual power, again, the electrons, the amount of kilowatt hours that you consume, and a separate delivery charge for essentially renting that infrastructure. And if you were a customer directly of Southern California Edison, you would see the exact same breakout. You would just be getting that power generation from Edison instead of Clean Power Alliance. So we are not an additional fee. We are just taking the place of the generation fee that you would already get from Edison. But if you're a CPA member, you get the opportunity to have cleaner sources for your power. So what are those cleaner sources and what are those rate options? So we have 3 opportunities for our customers. And I'll start over here on the right, which is the lean power. And this is sort of like what you would typically get from Edison, sort of our base rate. This is following renewable portfolio standards for how much power clean power needs to be on the grid. And right now, our power content here is about 2% cheaper than Edison's base rate. So you can get the same power from Edison at a 2% discount from Clean Power Alliance. You also have the opportunity to get either 50% clean energy content from our clean power option or our 100% green power option, which 68% of our customers are on. So again, the majority of our customers opt for this 100% green power. And I'll say individual customers, even if your jurisdiction is a customer of Clean Power Alliance or a member of Clean Power Alliance, individual customers, in other words, individual households, can choose to be on any individual rate they want. Again, green power, clean power, lean, or to opt out completely and to go back to Southern California Edison. So here's a quick breakout of what jurisdictions are in CPA's territory. And again, that map is on our website for anyone interested to see. All right, let's get into the energy team. So what is our energy team? It is a way to get suggestions or guidance on the kinds of projects that you might want to consider for your home or small business. There's a number of ways to contact us. There's the number on the screen. You can just reach out through regular work hours, 9 to 5, reach an energy team advisor and talk to them about your projects, and they can help you figure out which projects might be best suited for you, for your residents, your business, or if you have a budget, which projects will be best for that budget. Or let's say if you want to keep within your existing electricity panel, you don't want to have to do costly upgrades. You just want to stick to what you can do currently. They can help you with that as well. And you can reach out by phone, email, or chat. And if you go to our website, again, you can click on that chat function and do that directly from our website. So the goal of this program is to support and educate Clean Power Alliance's residential and small business customers, to encourage them to connect with our experts and to provide guidance to customers on what kinds of projects are available, what kind of technologies are available, and then importantly, what kind of rebates are available. So currently, there is a wide variety of ways you can get discounts on electrification upgrades. One of the main goals of this service is to help you navigate those rebates. We can actually go through with you in those applications and help you fill out those applications, tell you which kinds of rebates you're going to be eligible for, and maximize those services for you. So how does our program overlap with California Interfaith Power and Light? So we have been working with CIPL for a number of months now, about 3 or 4 months, through our energy team program. We released some community benefits grants earlier in the year, and this was providing up to $50,000 grants for a wide array of partnerships. And we selected 3 to work with our energy team program to help with outreach. In other words, looking at specific areas that maybe Clean Power Alliance, we don't have a lot of specific knowledge in or connections to. And we selected California Interfaith Power and Light, as well as Chingona Community, which reaches out particularly to Latinx communities, and Silicon Valley COG, the Council of Governments, San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, and they're reaching out primarily to businesses in the region. And so each of these 3 organizations got just under $17,000 to do outreach, which is one of the reasons we're talking today. And I'll also say that we have another round of community benefits grants coming out in later this month. If you work for an organization and are interested in partnering with Clean Power Alliance, Energy Team specifically, or any other program, please feel free to go to our 2026 application, and I have that link in the slide here. So let's look at sort of a more holistic view of what Energy Team does. Kind of giving you the very quick overview, and hopefully this will clarify visually all the different services that you can get if you are a CPA customer, small business, or residential customer. So I'm going to start in the upper right-hand corner here. So there are a lot of different technologies available to you for an electrification upgrade. The biggest users in a home are typically hot water heaters and space heaters. So there are electric heat pump water heaters, which do heat pump water heaters, and then heat pump space heaters, which do both cooling and heating for your home. They're very energy efficient. They're much more energy efficient even than older electric space heaters and water heaters, and they're more emissions efficient than gas water heaters or space heaters. And we can help you find what is the appropriate technology for your home or small business based on the size, looking at the current capacity of your existing appliances, and help you make those choices. Additionally, there are induction cooktops, which you can get for your kitchen. There are electric clothes washers and dryers, and a variety of other smaller appliances that you can look at for your home or small business. So we can help you figure out what those are. We have on-call technical support. Again, that's through the phone number I put on the screen earlier, or through email and chat. We also have a number of self-service online tools so that you can, let's say you're curious to know, like, what would a heat pump cost for a heat pump water heater? We have 3 different calculators on our website. You can go, putting in just a little bit of information, you can get a rough estimate of the kinds of greenhouse gas savings you would have from in this case, heat pump water heater, the kinds of upfront costs you could expect, and the long-term savings, cost savings from that heat pump, again, in this case, water heater. And then we have tools for space heating and for solar calculations and for EV charging and the cost of an EV upfront. So if you want to learn more about what kinds of electric vehicles are on the market, you can learn more about that. If you want to see what kinds of home charging options you have and what the cost of that would be, you can go to our page there, and there are calculators for all those different technologies. Once you've determined you're interested in seeing what options you have for your home or small business, you can do a virtual energy assessment. So rather than having someone physically come to your home, we can do this all over a phone or over your computer. You can do this through video or through taking pictures of your appliances. Typically, this looks like taking a picture of the capacity, let's say, of your hot water heater, or the size of your electrical panel, so we can see, like, would you need a panel upgrade, or with the existing service you have, can you electrify now? And from that, you will get an electrification plan, sort of now at the bottom left of this screen. And this will optimize your options here. It'll give you up to 3 different scenarios. Let's say you want to do it like an all-electric scenario, maybe something that just maximizes your current panel, and then a third option that is looking specifically at the technologies that you're interested in. Once we figure out what kinds of appliances you're interested in, we can walk you through the local, state, and federal rebates that are available, go through the application processes with you, and then we can provide some guidance on finding a contractor. And this is largely through the Switches On website. Once you go there, find a couple contractors, get a couple bids, you can come back to the energy team and we can help you walk through those bids, think about what kind of questions you want to ask the contractor to help you make a decision, and do some benchmarking as far as prices to say, is the quote they're giving you within the range of what we'd expect in your area? And then finally, at the top of the screen here, we have CPA referrals. We have a number of other programs, some that provide rebates, some that provide guidance for battery and solar installations, for using smart thermostats to reduce to load shifts to reduce your cost, and all kinds of other services you can look at to help lower your bills. And I'll say this program is eligible, I should say 97% of CPA customers are eligible for this program. Again, small businesses and residences. So now is really the time to take advantage of this service. Here's all the contact information one more time. And we can help you maximize those expiring tax incentives before the end of the year. So what are those incentives and which ones are expiring? So through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act signed on July 4th, there's a sunset to numerous residential and business tax incentives. The general timeline here is home efficiency and on-site generation incentives expire December 31st of this year. New, used, and commercial vehicle tax credits expire at the end of this month. And then EV charging tax credits for low-income folks expire June 30th of next year. So again, as far as probably the credits that are still available, I would say is this home efficiency and on-site generation, and then the bottom bullet here, EV charging tax credits. Again, if you call the energy team, we can walk you through all of these in more detail. So who's eligible to use the energy team? I've said broadly residences and small businesses, and that is true. What is a small business? That is a commercial building that uses, that has 20 kilowatts of peak demand or less. So how do you know if you're eligible? One, if you're a resident, so again, if you're a multifamily, if you're in an apartment, if you are a homeowner, you're eligible. If you're a business and you're not sure if you meet this 20 kilowatt peak demand, you can look at your bill and see what rate schedule you're on, or you can just call the energy team and we can help look at your account, and we'll be able to tell you within seconds, if you have that account number with you, whether or not you're eligible for the program. Likewise, if you're not sure if you're a CPA customer, you can call the energy team, and if you're armed with the account number from a recent electricity bill, and you have the zip code where you reside, and the last name of the account holder, we can determine, over the phone in seconds if you are a CPA customer and are eligible for the program. So just a little bit about religious organizations in CPA service territory. We have 2,329 religious organizations. Again, this is using NAICS codes from the North American Industry Classification System. 1,560 are qualified for the energy team on this GS1 rate. Again, that's this commercial small business rate. And then the remaining, all the folks who are not of the 1,560 GS1 rates are on our medium business rate or on another rate that would not be eligible for the program. But again, 67% are. So if you are an organization, a religious organization looking to take advantage of the service and some of those tax incentives, there's a good chance that you are eligible. And so I encourage you to call the energy team. Just a little bit more information. I thought this was kind of fun to look into, how many religious organizations have installed solar panels, for example, and from our information, which is not always 100% perfect, but so I'll qualify this. But of the folks that we know of through those NAICS codes, 95 have installed solar panels and 4 have installed batteries. So currently we don't have religious organizations participating in our other programs. So this is a call to folks, to any religious organizations interested in participating in our commercial programs. We have a number of programs that can help you save money on your bill. And I encourage you to reach out to Energy Team to find those programs and those bill saving opportunities. Okay, so just a little bit more on who's eligible. So if you are a religious organization, you're going to be, and you're a small business, you're going to be on the right-hand side here. If you are a renter or and you don't necessarily have the opportunity to make all the decisions for your residents, there are still rebates you can take advantage of. There are still opportunities you have to communicate with the property manager to make some updates. You can work with them to find opportunities to electrify when a hot water heater, for example, breaks and needs to be replaced. or if something is in unit, typically something like a water heater could be in unit, then you can work with your property manager again to make those updates as needed. So it's definitely worth calling, definitely worth looking into. What you have the opportunity to update will depend renter to renter, but there are also opportunities, for example, for your cooking stovetops, cooktops. Those can be induction and typically are things you have more control over. For folks who are low income or in disadvantaged communities, there are typically additional rebates. So all the rebate programs will generally apply across the board. Some programs will have additional support for folks who are in low income or disadvantaged areas. And then there are other separate programs that are specifically for folks in low income disadvantaged communities. So again, encourage you to reach out. We can help you find those rebates, maximize all the cost saving opportunities that are out there. And there are also, I should say, financing opportunities, especially for low income folks. So if you don't feel like you have the ability to pay up front for a new space heater, you can find financing opportunities as well as those rebates to really bring down that upfront cost. In language services, so we have all of our fact sheets in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Chinese, but you can contact the energy team in any language you prefer. So our chat, you can type in any language in our chat, and we use Google Translate there to determine what language that is, and then we can either connect you with someone who is a native speaker of that language, if that's available. We have native speakers for English and Chinese, or we can work with you either a translator over the phone or using some of these translation services through chat, communicate with you in any language that you are comfortable with to go through both the energy assessments or just to answer general questions on programs available. If you are unsure if you are a CPA customer, I have a link here to an Understand Your Bill page on our website. Here it gives you instructions on where to go in your bill to find out if you are a CPA customer. Again, everyone's going to see this Southern California Edison in the upper left-hand corner. It's going to look like your bill is coming from Edison, but through your customer account and through some other indicators on your bill, you can quickly determine if you are a CPA customer, or again, you can just call and using this customer account number, we will verify in seconds over the phone if you're eligible for the program. Okay, and these are some example resources. I think I've talked through them. I don't need to go through them again. An example, customer experience. I think we've talked through most of this, but let's say your hot water heater's on the fritz or it breaks down. Now what? This is exactly the time I would recommend reaching out to Energy Team. At this point, you're gonna either buy a gas water heater, and if that's what you currently have, it would be a straightforward replacement, or you can decide, I really am interested in electric options, but I don't know where to start. So this is a great time to contact the Energy Team. We can help you find a contractor. We can help you figure out what kind of water heater you should be looking at. If you're an apartment or a smaller home, there are water heaters now that use regular 120 plugs. So you don't even always need an electrification upgrade. If you just have a regular plug available, sometimes you can just use that. If you want to and are interested in other opportunities in your home or small business, you can go through that virtual assessment, look at what your residence is a candidate for in terms of other electrification projects, and what equipment would work for you. And then again, we can point you to those contractors, help you go through their quotes. And then finally, when you complete your installation, you take a hot shower, we'll have some customer feedback forms that we'll provide so that we can see how you like the program, what we can improve, and then sort of track who's using the program. But this is a great way if you have any suggestions for the program and how we can make it better for the future. We'd love to hear your feedback. All right, I think now is the time. I'm just going to go to questions. Happy to answer any questions on Energy Team itself. If you have more technical questions about upgrades, we have Danny on the line as well. So Becca, I'll pass it back to you and then go to questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chico, for sharing this presentation. I will say, as I've been connecting with individuals and congregations, I have met people that are, members of the CPA services, and you have lots of satisfied customers. And I think this energy team is just, another great resource to provide to folks as we continue to navigate a ever-changing energy sector. So thank you for sharing with us today. Now, as Chico alluded to, we have another member from the CPA team to join us, one of the actual energy team members, and that is Danny Ulhar. Danny is a field supervisor at Clear Results, where he oversees and manages a team of energy advisors in multiple California state rebate and incentive programs. Danny has been in the energy sector for over 10 years, specializing in residential energy efficiency and electrification readiness. So yeah, thanks, Danny, for joining us and taking people's questions.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, I'm going to kick us off with our first question. But, anyone here, please feel free to add your own questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So first off, where does CPA acquire their clean energy? Is this power generated in California, or does it come from all around the country?
We source our power primarily in Southern California, but we also have very large projects, and some of those are out of state. For example, one of the largest, in fact, the largest renewable energy development in the country through a partner called SunZia is going to be in New Mexico, and we'll be buying a lot of their power, a big solar farm. There are some solar farms up in LA County in the northern side, up by Lancaster, and up scattered in the southern United States, like Nevada, California, New Mexico.
Great, thank you. I was also wondering, does CPA work with any other electric providers besides SoCal Edison? I know you're very locally based here in LA and Ventura County. So just curious about any other partners that you may work with.
Yeah, good question. So we work primarily as a partner in distributing and getting our power out to folks, through Edison, because they own and operate all the power lines down in this area of California. There are other power providers, like if you're in the city of Los Angeles, there's LADWP. We do not intersect with LADWP. They are a totally separate entity. And so are all those other CCAs that I mentioned. In that first slide, I had those 25, the different consumer choice aggregators, and all of those territories are discrete. In other words, we don't overlap with their territory. That said, we have relationships with all the other CCAs. We meet at a big conference yearly, and we share a lot of information with them in terms of like what's working in terms of our programs. Not personal information. We don't share any of that. Legally, we're not allowed to, so I want to make that clear, and we don't. But we do talk to them and share best practices for programs to make sure that we're always improving the services we're providing.
Wonderful, thank you. Danny, I have a question for you. So as I connected with folks out in the community, one of the number one questions I receive is, what if I'm a renter? Does CPA still have services that I can utilize? and what services could they use on their own, and what services would they need to work with their landlord on to move forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as Shiko had mentioned earlier, part of the eligibility requirements is that your property needs to be a residential or small business. So for the residential side of things, you can either be a homeowner or a renter. If you are a renter, you can still communicate with the energy team, but we also tried to make sure there's some sort of cross-functional communication with the actual homeowner and the renter to be able to push those projects through. And what was the second part of that question?
Oh, just what projects can folks do on their own versus which ones would require assistance from the landlord?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would always recommend that customers always try to work with a contractor or trade ally, right? You have experts that specialize in either HVAC systems, insulation, or installing appliances. I would say more of the DIY sort of projects would maybe be, induction range, cooktops, or heat pump clothes dryers, because it's just simply, capping a gas line, for example, and replacing it with a 120 volt outlet. So for the folks that don't know what a 120 volt outlet is, it's just the same outlet like for a phone charger versus, a very large outlet. There are most appliances with the induction and heat pump clothes dryers use 240. So yeah, that's also another option as well.
Great. Now at CIPL, we talk regularly with congregations about going solar and having backup batteries. We're actually working with some congregations on becoming resilience hubs, which is exciting work. But I was curious, in your opinion, both Shiko and Danny, feel free to answer. What electrical project or appliance upgrade would you say is the biggest bang for your buck? What really helps us reduce our carbon emissions and make an impact as we fight climate change?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of emphasis on just automatically. So the direct answer I would say is heat pump water heaters, right? It really depends on the sector. It could be, the residential or the commercial, but heat pump water heaters are, I would say, on a return on investment sort of spectrum. They're about 2 to 4 times more efficient than a standard electric resistance water heater or a gas water heater. Right. Air source heat pumps are also a really good option for commercial upgrades as well. But I think there should be a lot of emphasis on the building envelope first, right? You would want to have the customer hire an energy assessor or, do a virtual energy assessment with the energy team, go through a diagnosis of figuring out what's working in the home, what's not working in the home. We provide those customers with an energy assessment report that gives like a very clear basic snapshot of some of the opportunities for energy efficiency upgrades and energy conservation. But the emphasis on the envelope of the building is a really key part of sizing mechanical systems, right? So for example, if you have really good insulation, air sealing, fenestrations like windows or doors, you're in a better position, and so is the contractor that you plan on working with, to size the HVAC system appropriately to accommodate the heating and cooling aspects of that appliance. And so that really aids in efficiency and optimization. And then after, completely electrifying the home, then you're in a better position to talk to solar experts to size, the solar system or battery storage based off of the needs and the demand of the home.
Yeah, I'll just add one quick thing. That was exactly right. Thank you, Danny. I'll just say, the big three, if you will, are space heating, which is air conditioning and heating, water heating, which Danny just mentioned, and vehicles, right? So if you have an electric vehicle or not. Not everyone has an electric vehicle, so not everyone is going to want to install an EV charger at their home. And depending on where you live, you may or may not have AC, right? A lot of folks on the coast probably don't currently have AC, although things are warming and that's changing. Whereas at least in Southern California here, if you live further inland, you want AC, right? So, and then which one is drawing the most energy for you will, also depend on some of those environmental factors. But those, if you had to boil it down to 3 to look at for conversion, I would look at those. And then exactly as Danny mentioned, once you have more of that electricity usage, then you can take advantage of solar and battery. Not that you can't install solar and battery if you haven't fully electrified, but you're going to get the most value out of it with those other appliances.
And I'd also like to remind the audience that solar doesn't offset gas, it only offsets electricity.
Yes. Oh man, these are details that I wouldn't have thought of. So I need an energy team when I think about future electrification projects. Thank you. Well, goodness, I have so many questions, but we're at time and the energy team is all about providing answers for calling in. So we will leave things where they're at with an encouragement to keep this conversation going and calling the energy team. You can also schedule a meeting with them as well on their website. So we will drop that link in the chat. Yeah, which is great. So thank you again, Shiko and Danny, for being here. To wrap us up, I will share some announcements, including the energy team information. Please feel free to check out their website or follow them on social media. We have, they're on lots of different platforms. CIPL follows y'all. So thanks for all the good information you put out on social media. And let's see, CIPL also has 2 important announcements. We currently have a petition going out to oppose the EPA's rollbacks of climate protections and clean vehicle standards. Our goal is to have 5,000 signatures, and we are only a couple of hundred away. So if you haven't signed our petition yet, there's a link in the chat where you can read our letter and add your name to the list. And also later this month, we have Sunday. It is a sister celebration to Earth Day that is all about embracing clean energy, celebrating solar and other electrification projects. So yeah, Clean Power Alliance, y'all are right in that avenue of Sunday. So once again, we appreciate y'all's work. So yeah, if you want to host a Sunday event at your house of worship, there is a link for resources that CIPL provided. And there's also a link in the chat where you can look up and see different Sunday events happening around you. So let's keep celebrating and investing in clean energy. And with that, I'll say thank you for your time, everyone. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Becca. Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you.